got a clip from CNN. Guys, Donald Trump's approval rating with the GOP has gone up during the Epstein scandal. And among Gen X, it has gone up. And among Hispanics, it has gone up. It has gone down a bit in aggregate, but this is actually a funny clip. I love Harry Enton because he's always so surprised to find out that there are people who like Trump.
I mean, look, I think this one surprised me a bit because of all these complaints online going after Trump and the Epstein files. You might think his approval ratings were going down, Republicans. If anything, they're going up. Republicans who approve of Trump, look at our CNN poll. The prior one, 86%. The one out this week, 88% were Republicans. How about Quinnipiac? The prior poll, 87% approve of Republicans. This week out, 90% were Republicans. If anything, Donald Trump's approval rating has gone up since this whole Epstein saga started. He is at the apex, or close there too, in terms of his popularity with Republican voters, Epstein files, complaints, or not.
You just proved that not everything online is real in real life.
Who knew?
Amazing.
Twitter and X are not reality.
Is there any reason that you can find that this hasn't taken hold and hurt him?
Yeah. I mean, on X, all you hear about is the Epstein files. But how about out in the real public? Republicans who said the top issue was Epstein case. The answer is one, and not 1%. One responded. This is a great little finding that Ariel Edwards-Levy, who of course is part of our polling unit, found. Just one single Republican said that the nation's top problem is in fact the Epstein case. Not much of a surprise that therefore Donald Trump's approval rating has not suffered with Republicans because of the Epstein case. Because the bottom line is most Americans say it's not high up on their priority.
So is the issue then we are all terminally online and suffering from delusions?
I mean, look, man, I was saying normies don't really care about the Epstein stuff. There are people that care very deeply about it, and they're very vocal, and they're the people that are calling into podcasts and making sure that Charlie Kirk is on point and making sure that Benny's on point, and there are people in the chat here that that really care about it. But the average person does not care. It is the economy that matters, and the fact that the economy is actually doing fairly well right now means that people are kind of okay, and they don't want to make drastic changes because they feel like the economy is going to be getting better.
Well, and who are they polling? Because if they're polling boomers, that makes sense, you know. But if it was Gen Z and millennials, I don't think it would be the same.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but I said the same thing that you just said prior to the election when Trump overpromised on this, and we knew that he probably wasn't going to follow through because he qualified it. They were like, are you going to release the JFK files? What about the MLK files? And they went down the list. How about the Epstein files? And he said, yes, but we're going to need to look into that because some people's names might be mentioned in there and they didn't do anything wrong. So we're going to have to look into that further. So we knew he wasn't going to follow through on it. I don't think he should have even engaged with the conversation and made a promise if it weren't realistic to follow through. And people voted on mass deportations, and they voted on inflation. They didn't vote based on this issue, and it is a chronically online issue. And anyone watching this live stream, no offense, I'm not even saying you're chronically online, but you're definitely more online than the rest of the population and Trump's supporters.
Just the number of people that are actually actively involved in politics in the United States is like vanishingly small. You know, most people don't get really involved in politics. It's the same reason why, you know, every 4 years there's the presidential election and there's a bunch of people that turn out, but then the midterms, no one can get to the polls because people normies aren't particularly interested in politics. And whether you like that or not, or whether it's good for the country or not, is irrelevant. It's just the way that people behave.
Yeah, that's why there's a yearly cycle in political content on YouTube that is it's obvious. The year after an election, views go way down. And then the midterms kick off and you start getting these elections and it starts to bubble up. Then you get a primary year, it bubbles up, then a general election, and they spend, $5 billion. And there's ad campaigns everywhere. Everyone's trying to maximize their access to whatever audience. Viewership is skyrocketing. And then everyone gets fatigued and takes the year off. Regular people right now, it's a beautiful July evening. They're probably sitting on their porch with a Yingling or Blue Moon in a rocking chair, looking at the moon.
While I'm in a dark room waiting for the next Epstein video to come out.
Ready to type. Ready to
on the list.
Type on X how terrible the Epstein stuff is and how right you were and how you knew it all along.
Or it's a dead internet everyone's a bot. We're doing a show to nobody, and everyone just thinks they have viewers.
I mean, that's possible.
It's going to be funny when, like, in the future, it's just India and Pakistan debating whether, like, Trump is better than Hillary on X because they were hired to do so and they don't actually know that they're actually warring on the internet.
Okay, you doing live events must disprove that theory for you, right?
Like people show up and buy
Yeah.
tickets. Yeah, but like doing a show that gets 700,000-800,000 viewers is a big number compared to selling 200 seats. You know what I mean?
That is true. That was the first time I came to watch you live, was at a Turning Point event. And I remember I was like, oh, there's other people that actually listen to Timcast. This is cool. You know? I had to rant
It's
about
just
Ian.
me.
Yeah, I thought it was only me that thought Ian was cool and stuff.
No, that was always right.
Poor Ian. Spaceman.
So check this out from Newsweek. Donald Trump's approval rating flips with Gen Z. And I love this headline because they could just write hits, all-time high or something. The general story is that he's got among Gen Z plus 10. Was it Gen X? I said Z. Oh, my bad. Gen X. Old people, not young people.
Me.
Yes. Up 10 points, whereas in April it was down 13. Then you've got this from Newsweek as well. Its approval rate with Hispanic is surging. Not like it's above water. I think it went from 26 to 35. But Trump's approval is actually going up at this time, where apparently there's some scandal related to this Epstein thing. I think it shows you that regular people are going, who?
Yeah.
It's definitely like a horse that's been beaten to a pulp. And it was kind of like the last thing that I was thinking of right now after doing all the stuff that, I feel like I've done to help create some world where Trump got elected again. This is kind of like the time that I was like, okay, well, now we can relax and not think about this for now.
I think everything's fake, and that's why no one knows what's going on. Like the polls are all wacky. They go up and down. Like I got the aggregate approval, and it's like Reuters minus 13, Qantas minus 2. Like who are you going to believe? Big data minus 1 or Economist minus 11? The swings are psychotic.
Tim, you were saying earlier, I think it was on one of the clips today, like how many things Trump has done that were living up to the promises that he made during the campaign. And even people that were like, oh, you'll never get self-deportations. And I think that I've heard something like 1 million people or something have possibly self-deported
Reported
already.
1 million
Oh,
self-deportations.
Yeah, that is...
Where did you see that number?
That's the official number, I'm pretty sure.
I don't recall.
It's like all over the internet. Like news articles, I've written it.
On the internet.
I don't think it's from ICE. They're not publishing the numbers.
Well, it's the self-deportations.
14,000 deportations by ICE.
Self-deportations.
I know
where
we're talking about self-deportations. I'm talking about ICE. I think it was 14,000 this month. And if it continues on that track, we're talking less than 1 million, far less than a million in his entire presidency.
Yes,
super
but
low.
the point of all of the pressure that ICE is putting on is to get people to self-deport, right? If they only deport, if the whole 4 years they only manage to deport 100,000 people, but 5 or 10 million are like, I'm out of here because I want to be able to come back and I don't want to get booted. That's good.
I don't know, man. Something about promising mass amnesty doesn't exactly incentivize
He hasn't
people to
promised
leave.
mass amnesty. He hasn't promised mass amnesty. There's one politician that's talking about it, and she's catching hell. And Donald Trump himself said, or at least Carolyn Levitt today from the podium during the press briefing, said that no, there will be.
I know
no.
it's
So quick fact check. I think that's just Trump's talking point. The only source I could find that claims 1 million illegal immigrants self-deported was NDTV, and it cites various data from the New York Post and the Washington Post that suggests that's the case.
Yeah, this sounds like a cope.
Yeah.
Like a cope.
Well,
Nothing ever
and,
happens.
I know that it's not technically amnesty because it's technically a special visa program they want to create for illegal immigrant workers, but effectively it's the same thing, and they're incentivized to stay when they hear things like that in news coverage.
Well, I get what you're saying, but that bill is not going to make it anywhere. It's super unpopular with the base. She's already getting a ton of pushback about it. She went on Meet the Press to talk about it. Salazar's her name, right? That presented the bill, or that proposed the bill. And it's not at all what Donald Trump is saying is going to happen. So I understand there are people that have talked about it. Trump has made remarks about farmers needing the workers and stuff. But overall, like, there has been more movement on immigration, illegal immigrants, than probably any other thing that Donald Trump has talked about. And whether or not you think it's good enough yet, I understand, but it's already way better than I honestly expected. Because again, if 1 million people have already self-deported, the more pressure you put on, the better. And there should be things like they should start picking up employers that are hiring illegals. Though they should pick up people that rent home or rent apartments to illegals. We should be making it as difficult as possible for people that are here illegally, because the best option is people to leave voluntarily.
That is.
You seem like you don't like that idea, or
Well,
you just are like, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I just don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's working,
like a massive
Yeah, but it is happening.
Part of this documentary I worked on with Tim, it was fascinating because these migrants would tell me, hey, I want to go back. They're tired of being here. They don't like the American food. The rent is too high. And all
tax on remittances will help too. All of these things.
And they repurposed the CBP One app that all of these migrants took into the United States to be the CBP One Home app. And so we should have the data, is the thing, because you can follow it through the app, but I don't know if they've released that. But it is working, and I've heard migrants, they've told me they want to self-deport, some of them.
That's the hope, right? And that's the best option, because then you don't have ICE actually having to go and snatch people up. You don't have interactions with protesters. You don't have any of the negative consequences. And people are just like, well, I'm going to leave. That's the best case scenario. And anything that the administration does to further that goal, I'm down with.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.